B.A.Mohamed.
Can you spell the initial for us, please?
A-N-I-E-S-H-A-W.
A-N-I-E.
Yes. S-H-A-W.
And your first name is?
Bibi. Bibi Anisha Mohamed.
B.A.
Ma'am, you gave a statement, and you gave a statement on the 5th of December 2022. That's the day.
Correct.
And you signed it
Yes, I did.
and initialed it.
Correct.
And if you see it again, you'll be able to identify it.
Yes, I will.
Thank you. Could you show the helpers? A document is being placed in your hand. Could you just indicate whether that is the statement which you signed and initial?
Yes, it is.
Might this be admitted as BAM1, and I have copies for the commissioner. Could you pass the original to the chair so that it could be marked?
B.A.M1.
Yes.
Paragraph 3, I believe the word "there" is left out. Otherwise, it can have a completely different meaning, and I don't believe that's what the witness intended to say.
Indeed, and I can correct it as she testifies.
Yes.
Ma'am, would you state your address
1435 2nd Avenue, Diamond.
and what do you do for a living?
I'm the director of the Guyana Learning Channel.
Do you recall the March 2020 general and regional elections?
Yes, I do.
What role did you play in the electoral process for those elections?
I was responsible for tabulation.
And were you a party agent?
Yes, I was.
For which party?
The People's Progressive Party.
On the 4th of March at about 4 to 5 in the afternoon, did you receive certain instructions?
Yes, I was told to go to Ashman's building where tabulation for District 4 was being conducted because there were some incidents on the numbers being called based on what we had on our SOPs. I was called there for further verification.
Sure. And who gave you these instructions?
The party supervisor.
Yes. When you got to Ashman's building, was the process taking place?
No, it wasn't immediately when I got there.
And when you talk about the verification process, do you mean the verification of statements of polls with statements of polls?
That is what I mean, correct.
At some point, did an issue arise after you got there?
Yes, when I got there, there was already an issue and there was no tabulation being taking place at that time.
Now, what is the process? How are SOPs, what's the process in the tabulation room when the SOPs are taken out and called? What's the process?
Well, as far as my knowledge goes, when you're tabulating for a district, you're given the envelope that contains, a sealed envelope that contains the SOPs for each ballot box within that district, from where it is opened in the presence of everyone in the room and tabulated.
So the envelopes are opened by whom in the tabulation room?
I believe the DRO.
So my understanding is the envelopes in the room are sealed and then opened in the presence of everyone
Correct.
in the tabulation room.
Yes.
Now you say you talk in paragraph 3 about why you were of the view that a spreadsheet could not have been used in this process.
Yes, I did.
Could you explain that to us?
Okay, so if in fact we were to follow the correct procedure and open the statement of poll in front of everyone in that room and see that statement of poll for the very first time, it would be amiss that a spreadsheet could have been populated with the said statement of poll, because you'd have to have seen that before to populate or get a spreadsheet done with the same numbers within those envelopes.
So essentially what you are saying is you can't do a spreadsheet with numbers you haven't seen.
Correct.
Can I ask you, Ms. Mohamed, that envelope which you claim ought to be opened in the presence of party agents and other persons concerned with the tabulation process originated from where?
The polling stations.
So that envelope would have been prepared by the presiding officer, I assume,
That is correct.
and C.
Yes.
Was that envelope the only container with a statement of poll for a particular polling station?
Well, at the polling station, party agents and the presiding officer would be given copies of the statement of poll for each polling station. To my knowledge, no one else should have that statement of poll.
GCOM personnel wouldn't have it?
GCOM would have. I'm not certain about that. I can't say
You don't
for
know.
sure.
But certainly you think, or you know, that party agents would be in receipt.
Yes,
statements of
because
poll.
our party were in receipt of our copies.
And therefore all political parties contesting the elections
And had polling agent present.
would have or ought to have.
Yes.
So there were possibilities for the preparation of a spreadsheet other than the statement of poll in the envelope.
But then it would conflict with the purpose of the tabulation being
Well, that's a
done.
different issue. Your contention is, as I understand your evidence, this was an odd occurrence because you could not, the spreadsheet could not have been populated with numbers until after the envelopes were opened, but that's not necessarily, that's what ought to be. That's what your evidence should be?
Yes.
Or that's what you're endeavoring to say?
That's what I'm
That's-
endeavoring to say.
That's the process that should be observed.
Yes, it is.
In other words, there should not be the use of any other document, including any other statement of poll, to generate a spreadsheet.
That is correct.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, perhaps it might be useful for us to go to the last paragraph.
One moment, Ms. Shaw. Would I be correct to say that the sum of your evidence on this issue is that if a spreadsheet is generated in a manner outside of what you say is regular, that is the opening of the envelope, the ascertainment that there is a statement of poll, and extracting and recording the votes recorded on the statement of poll. If there were a spreadsheet generated in any other manner other than this, it would have been through the use of unauthorized, or it would have been generated in an unauthorized manner.
That is correct.
So I'm going to take you to the last paragraph of your statement,
Okay.
okay? Now, you said you were a party agent for the PPPC, and your party had its SOPs.
That is correct.
And can you tell us whether your party had tallied your SOPs before you before you were instructed to go to Ashman's building?
Yes, all 2,339, if I'm correct there. All of our boxes was tabulated to that point where I went to Ashman's building.
And this was by what time on the 5th?
Before midday, on the 4th.
On what?
On the 4th,
Yes, sorry. And what did your numbers show?
It showed that we won the elections.
Now, I take it your party didn't share your numbers with GCOM,
No, we did not.
because the numbers which GCOM, or the figures which GCOM uses, are supposed to come from their SOPs, correct?
That is correct.
So let's go back to where we were. Now, you are familiar with the name Enrique Laivan?
Yes, I am.
And at some point after you got to Ashman's building, did Mr. Laivan and another gentleman restart the verification process?
Yes, they did.
But I take it at that stage different problems arose.
Yes, he was hesitant in restarting, that's one. And after he restarted, there was a clear escalation in the numbers he was calling for PPP and APNU specifically. All the others were correct.
Sure.
But
What I want to ask you is this. Was there a problem in which you assisted in resolving?
Yes.
What was that?
After he tabulated about 3 boxes, he said that the system was no longer working. To which he pointed out that he would need someone to come and fix it, and he can't get anyone at that point. To which I raised my hand and said, I can fix it. I then got up and proceeded to where he was, and I just had to secure some cables from the laptop, and it was working again.
And there's a photograph indicating that you did that.
Yes, there is.
So after you just adjusted the cables, did the process restart?
Yes, it did.
And what happened then?
Shortly after, I do not believe we went through one box fully. He left the room.
When you say he, to whom do you refer?
Mr. Livan got up and he took control of the laptop being used, and he unplugged the flash drive from it, placed the flash drive in his pocket, and left with the laptop. It was an Acer laptop.
And did you wait in the room?
Yes, everyone was concerned. We thought he was returning. We did not know what happened within that minute, but he did not return, and there were search for him.
At about 15 minutes later, did you leave the room?
Yes, we all left the room and went to another room and proceeded to open the door where Mr. Lightman was found sitting. He was evidently working on the laptop, and there was a flash drive on the desk it was silver and black, and there was the black one that was used in the room plugged into the laptop that he took.
One moment, this is important. You see in paragraph 6, you left the tabulation room together with several other persons,
Yes, I did.
and you went to a room to the side.
Yes.
Someone opened the door, and I entered the room. Were you with that person who entered the room?
Yes, several persons
No.
entered.
The several persons. You.
Yes, I was.
You were with the person who opened the door.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Can you recall who was that person?
That
The
opened.
person who opened the door.
No, I don't recall specifically who opened the door.
And about how many people were with you?
Over 15.
Over 50. Okay. So you said you saw Mr. Livan in the room. Was there anyone else with him?
There were two women in the room. One was laid down, and another was sitting, collecting paper from a printer that was being printed at the moment.
Now you just described the two flash drives which you saw. You said you saw one on the table and you saw one in the computer which you say Mr. Livan was working on.
Yes.
Well, how do you know he was working on the computer?
Because printing was occurring at the same time. He was in an alert mode as if he was working on the computer.
Where was the computer in relation to him?
It was directly in front of him.
And was the lid open or closed?
It was open.
And did you make any observation about the kind of computer it was?
It was an Acer computer, the same one we left that we were initially using in the tabulation room.
Again, one moment. I want to get this straight. When you entered the room, Mr. Livan was actually working at the computer.
Yes, he was.
And the two other persons, and there was somebody.
Someone was sleeping, seemed to
Yes.
be sleeping, and another was sitting, collecting paper from that was being printed.
The papers that were being printed. Okay. And you would have been one of the first persons to enter the room.
No, I was not the first person.
I
but
say one of the first.
Yes.
Because when the door was opened,
I was there.
right, so you were actually one of the
Yes, I was.
nobody entered before you. Did anyone enter the room before you? Because as I understand your evidence, when the door was opened, you were in company with the person who opened the door.
And several others, yes.
Alright. So therefore, you, along with several others, if you want to put it that way, you all were the first to enter that room.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I take it at some point the police were called.
Yes, they were.
And did you see police officers arrive?
Yes, I did.
How can you recall how long after you entered the room the police officers arrived?
I don't remember specifically, but roughly an hour or so.
When the police arrived, did Mr. Livan do anything?
He proceeded to close the laptop and he placed his head on the desk.
And what did the other two persons in the room do?
The person that was collecting the paper seemed as though she tried to discard of the paper, and the other person was just sitting there.
How long after you entered the room did the police arrive?
I don't remember specifically, but roughly an hour. Not longer than an hour.
So what happened during that hour? Were you in the room?
Yes, everyone remained in the room and they were trying to get clarity as to what was going on and what was being
Livan
printed.
doing during that period of time
He was just sitting there.
at the computer?
Yes. There were no other computer in the room, so if something was being printed, it had to be from that laptop.
What is clear from what you're saying is that Livan, prior to the arrival of the police, you were in the room, Livan was in the room, and the computer was not closed.
That is correct, sir.
Thank you.
You seem certain that the printing was connected to that particular laptop that was in front of Mr. Livan.
Yes, and that
Yes, so what I want to ask you is whether can you tell us whether the laptop was connected to the printer by a cable?
I can't recall that specifically, sir.
You do appreciate, because you seem to have some IT skills.
Yes, I do.
There were one or two methods by which printing could take place.
Via cable and wireless.
Either wirelessly or by cable. but
Yes.
You don't recall.
I don't recall.
Yes.
To be fair, you can't tell us whether a laptop in any other part of that area had the capacity to print off that printer. You don't know.
No, I can't verify
Good.
that.
So, when the police arrived, did they speak, well, did the people there, yourself and others, did you all raise your concerns with the police officers?
Yes, concerns were raised. Everything that transpired from him leaving the room with the laptop to entering that room and was working on the laptop when we entered the room was divulged to the police. He denied.
Hang on.
Okay.
And when you all were expressing your concerns, where was Mr. Livan?
He was still sitting in front of the computer.
So you expressed your concerns about what you thought had occurred in the presence of Mr. Livan?
Yes.
And did the police then give Mr. Livan an opportunity to explain himself?
Yes, they did. To which he said that the laptop he was working on, or the laptop that was in front of him, was his, and he did not take the laptop from the room.
Okay. And did you speak up?
Yes, I did. I proceeded to show them a picture of the laptop that was in use in the room, and it was the exact laptop that was in front of him. Because during that confrontation, they also went to verify whether the laptop was in the room like he said, because he said he did not remove it. And the laptop that we found in the room was a Dell laptop compared to an Acer that was being used initially and that we found him with in the room.
And are you able to say how that other laptop had got into the tabulation room?
No, there was no other laptop there when we left. Someone must have placed
No,
it.
let's not speculate. So when you left to go to the room on this side, you are able to tell us from what you've just said, one, you saw Mr. Livan leaving with the laptop that had been in use.
Yes, I did.
And you are able to tell us now from what you've just said that there was no laptop left in the area where GCOM employees were working when he left that room?
That is correct.
So when you brought this up, when you spoke up and you said, look, I'm able to say that this was an Acer laptop and so on, and they went to the other room and there was another laptop there. Did Mr. Livan give any explanation for this?
No, he did not.
Now, in relation to the many things which occurred at Ashman's building on that day, was there an issue concerning the use of deputy returning officers?
Yes, there was.
Now, in paragraph 11, we have the word 2 district returning officers, but you mean to say 2 deputy returning officers, correct?
That is correct.
Tell us a little bit about what happened there.
Okay, after Mr. Livan claimed to be tired to continue the process, there had to be a DRO present to continue tabulation. At that point, the CEO said that he could find no one at that hour. So other persons intervened and said that they can get a DRO here, to which 2 arrived.
Right, 2 DROs arrived.
Yes.
Any ideas to time? And don't guess.
It was-
If you honestly can't remember, just say so.
I would estimate it was after midnight.
Okay.
And
And did the CEO use those DROs?
no, he did not want to use those DROs. In fact, the two that came, they came willing because they showed up knowing that there's tabulation
No, I
going
don't
on.
think you would say that they came willingly, because you were not. They
Okay,
came.
well, they
So,
came.
were you there when, how do you know the CEO did not want to use them? Were you in conversation with the CEO?
He expressed openly that we cannot use these DROs.
Openly to whom?
To
Yourself?
everyone there.
Okay. Did he give a reason as to why those two DROs could not be used?
He did not state why, but after which he spoke to one of them, and the person left through the back,
When you say through the back, what do you mean?
the exit at the back of the building.
Okay. You saw that person leaving?
Yes, I did, and I took a picture of that.
Okay. Commissioners, may I just have 1 second? I just want to review some of the material that
Certainly.
we are going to ask to be exhibited. Now, you said there was an issue where Mr. Liban said that there was a technical problem and you resolved it.
Yes, I did.
And you said there is a photograph of that. If you see that photograph, you'll be able to recognize it.
Yes, I will.
Is that the, okay, is that the photograph of which you spoke?
Yes, it is.
Might this be admitted as BAM2 with copies for the commissioners? Yes,
Sorry, this would be immediate.
BAM2. Oh, it's up there, I know.
The very tall person attending to the laptop would be you.
Yes.
If you look at the screen where it's projected, who is the person standing in front of the laptop?
That's Mr. Lightman.
And the person in what looks like khaki pants, who is that?
He would be the DRO.
And the person on the right, who is that?
I can't say for sure.
Okay. But you are the lady in blue
Yes, I am.
in the photograph. Thank you.
Seems like this laptop is branded Acer.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But for you to say, you said that the laptop that was in the room was a Dell.
No.
No.
When we
When you
returned
returned,
to the room, the laptop was a Dell,
and
which
you
I have a
actually saw
picture.
it.
I saw it and I took a picture of it.
Well, perhaps we could go to that. If you see the picture of the Dell that you took, will you be able to identify it?
Yes, I will. This is it?
Might this be admitted as BAM3, and I have copies for the commissioners? Now, you also said that when you entered the room on this side, you saw Mr. Livan working in front of an Acer laptop, and you took a photograph of that. If you see that photograph, will you be able to identify it?
Yes, I will. Yes, this is it.
Is that the photograph of Mr. Livan in front of the laptop in the side room?
Yes, this is it.
Might this be admitted as BAM4? 3 copies for the commissioners. Now, you said when you entered the room, you had, you saw a second flash drive next to the Acer laptop, which had a flash drive in it, correct?
Yes.
And you also took a photograph of that other flash drive.
Yes, I did.
If you see that photograph that you took, you'll be able to identify it.
Yes, I will. Yes, this is it.
Might that be admitted as BAM4? 5, I beg your pardon. Now,
I'm sorry, I didn't, what does this flash drive relate to?
There were 2 flash drives when we entered the room. This was one, and the second was plugged into the laptop he was working on.
now you told us that when you spoke to the police, when you stepped up and spoke to the police, you showed them a photograph of the computer which you had taken in the tabulation room.
Yes, that was the picture of me fixing the cables on the laptop.
Oh, I see. Okay. So if
And
we
it
look,
was clear
right.
there.
So if we look, if we can just pull up that picture again, please. I think that is likely to be BAM2. No, not
Not
that
that
one.
one.
So there was no visual to draw. Well, is it possible for us to zoom in a bit on that? If possible, can we zoom in a little more on the computer itself? No, I'm afraid.
You'd have to download it, and then you'd be able to zoom closer.
Okay, so we are able to fix that.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Once they download from the site, you'd be able to
Expand and
Yes.
see what is the brand name on it. Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Mohamed.
You're welcome.
These are my questions for this witness.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.